So there are so many films that yes, we are doing our first another top 10 for the new channel. Is it because there's so many films set in London? Is it because we're just London boys and we just want to show off? It doesn't matter. It's what we're doing.
From gritty stories to outstanding performances and even a bit of comedy, this second top 10 London list has got a bit of everything. Stay tuned to find out what another top 10 movies set in London are.
Hey, Screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Lero, which means it's Tuesday. And it means we're back once again with another top 10. Special shout out to Seamus Gorman, who joined us last week. It was really cool having such an affluent YouTuber on our channel. It was cool seeing him at work and amazing Pixar tricks. So, Seamus, if you're watching, thank you for joining us. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, have a look at last week's episode. It's very cool. But let's talk movies, AJ.
Okay, but before we do, would you like to tell everyone what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about? How do we talk movies?
Here's how the show works. It's basically a top 10 show between two best friends from school. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom three. I will then deliver my bottom three. AJ will deliver his next two. I will deliver my next two. And then we will trade one apiece if at any time while we are rounding off our individual top 10 lists. One person has a movie in a higher position. That person will say...
Punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 movies, we will create, in the voice of Chandler Bing, the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the four quintessential, diverse, must-see movies of the genre, which this week is...
Another top 10 movie set in London.
Yes. And what do we do after that, AJ?
Okay, yes, of course, yes. This is where it gets really exciting because we, the Silver Screen Dudes, these two guys right here, have the challenge of creating the 4 must-see movies of the particular genre. But it gets even harder for you, the screeners, because what do you have to do? You have to take those 4 and create the one. El Capitan, El Numero Uno, the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. And in the words of Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. And how do you crown that one? Well, you head on over to X. That's right, formerly Twitter, but now it's X. And that's at Movie MT Rushmore. Or more importantly, the person that we'll be retweeting. We Love Movies, at Movie Polls for You, JT from We Love Movies. And that's where you will get the categories. This week, I'm actually going to give you 2 examples of what it were. So we have, first of all...
Weirdly, no, you're not.
Okay, I'll only give you 1.
Because for some reason, I'm going to blame Elon Musk here. Yeah, the poll we put up yesterday for Disney has gone bye-bye, but it's fine. We can do the London one.
That's fine. Do you know what? We're talking London. So before you go into another top 10 London movies, let's go to the original 4 London movies that we put out there. Our contenders were...
Sorry, I just want to fix out what's going on with X, because this is really annoying. Bloody Elon Musk is most unpleasant sometimes. Let's see if we can fix this. No, the tweet is gone. Thanks, Elon. I really appreciate you. Not. So our contenders for the first London show, that's what you were asking, wasn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
Snatch, Love Actually, The Long Good Friday, and The Prestige.
Now, this relies on movie buffs. And because, sadly, I've only heard of it recently, I'm going to go with The Long Good Friday at number 4.
No, sir.
Snatch, Long Good Friday, Prestige, and Love Actually.
Yes,
oh,
Love
there's a lot of
Actually.
silly. Yeah, it's Love Actually, isn't it?
18%. Each time we post this, the movie gets more and more and more divisive. I don't get it, but there you
go. Okay, third place. Screw it, I'll go for it again, and it's gonna haunt me, but I'm gonna go for it. The Long Good Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
Long Good Friday at 3 with 21%.
Now it's the Nolan lovers versus a good Brit film lovers. Screw it. I'm going to go against my better judgment, and I'm going to say Snatch came in at number 2.
No.
Yes. I've never been happier to be wrong.
Prestige came in at 2 with 29%. Snatch came in at number 1 with 32%. Happy days.
Good stuff. It's the only way. Okay. That's the poll out of the way. Let the movie Mount Rushmore begin. Okay, in at number 10 for me, I wanted to really love this film, and I've heard so much about it that when it actually came to my time watching it, I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. I just wanted more comedy from it. And that is John Cleese, Kevin Kline, Jamie Lee Curtis,
Yeah.
A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, I really like this film.
Bro, don't get me wrong. I had a good time with it. I just would have loved for this film to have been ranked higher. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it had to be secondary. I actually forgot about it until this week when it was coming up for the list. It's a unique heist movie. I'll give it that. It has a different twist to it. You know, there's a lot of backstabbing, the ways that, you know, so it's a group of people who perform a robbery. Then they turn their back on one person. Then they decide to turn their back on each other, all to get this thing. Then the first person gets kidnapped. And the only way to try and now get the info is by Jamie Lee Curtis trying to seduce John Cleese, who's in a pretty loveless relationship. And there is a lot of fun with it. And what I do love about this film, more than any other film with London, including films that I really know the location for, this was my one of playing, I know that area. And it's that, you know, where the old lady is with her dog?
With the dog.
You know that's just around the corner from our school, right?
I do.
I know exactly where it was. I know exactly where it is. And the minute I saw the Shell petrol station, I know exactly where you were. And then it's that. And then the apartment where they hire, I know exactly where that was, near Tower Bridge. Like, it just had me, I felt the essence of London in this film. It is good fun. Please don't get me wrong. From the hype that I heard, I was a little underwhelmed. But it is a film worth watching.
Listen, in the movies, to add to what you've just said, to be fair, you've also got black cab level knowledge of London streets. How you've got this, I don't know, but you've got amazing knowledge of London streets. I've always noticed, like, when we're driving around, you're like, turn left here. I'm like, you're not even using Google Maps. How the hell do you know that? Like,
I've got the knowledge, son. I got the knowledge.
Mate, tell you what, previous life and all that. What's your number 9?
In at number 9. So last week I gave you last time a couple of hood movies. This one was really interesting. I don't know if you've ever heard of Shiro's Story by any chance.
Oh,
this was like a YouTube miniseries by a guy called Ratman who has a story. Anyway, let's get into the film itself. This is Blue Story, which,
I'm sure
as you can see,
this up before.
I don't know if I may have actually, but as you can see, I don't know, I can't remember the gentleman on the left's name, but you know the gentleman on the right for sure. That is our good friend Michael Ward. When I say good friend, it's not a personal friend of the Silver Screen Dudes. Wish he was, but an amazing actor. And so Blue Story is basically all about Blue Borough, which is like, I want to say it's an area of Southeast London. I'm not going to quote the wrong area and what have you. It's all spun off because Ratman had created this TV series where he wraps a bit of a story and then it goes through to give, you know, a bit of acting, and he wraps the narratives to it. So, but built on that, and then they built Blue Story, and it's the story of two friends who actually, like, two kids who are really good friends, but it's a bit. Imagine The Fox and the Hound goes ghetto. I know it sounds so stupid, but
I love everything about what you've just said.
Bro, it works. It works. It's got this element of they've got this friendship. It gets tainted over a situation because of, I know this person, you know this person, and the outside influences now damage that relationship. And then it became a game of one-upsmanship over trying to get each other, even though there was the ground basis of friends. Now, all through the time, in order, like when you do time jumps, you've got Ratman rapping what the story of is, what happened, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
And then it comes into, it's pretty cool. And, you know, it's what happens with this friendship. Do they rekindle or do they go to full out war with each other? Pretty decent movie. I was quite shocked. I think when I saw it, it was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there. It did also get a cinema release. But yeah, pretty solid. Pretty solid film.
All right, cool. What's up? Can't comment. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I'm interested. I like. It sounds quite experimental. Which I like.
And bro, it's got Michael Ward. More than anything else, it's got Michael Ward.
He of Top Boy fame.
Top Boy fame, not Mangrove fame, Lovers Rock fame. Everything Michael Ward touches, I love. He done a film with who's the lady? Olivia Colman. I haven't watched that.
Empire of Light. It's okay.
Yeah, that one.
I was not a problem with it. It was just the story was a bit meh.
Weak. That's the thing. I started watching the film and I'm like, you're not giving me enough to fall in love with this film. So.
And it
That
kind
was
of,
that, but
I watched it, just caught it on the plane. I think it was over to LA back in April, but didn't rock my world.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. My number 8 could be a lot higher. I just feel like it gets brought up a million and one times in Silver Screen Dudes pantheon, and that's the one. But it's everybody's favorite nanny, Mary Poppins.
Oh, punt, behave yourself.
Bro, look, you're within your rights. You're within your rights. I just felt like it's. I don't know. I was just, yeah.
Regularity is regularity, but when you're talking London, behave yourself.
I know. Look, this is why I shut my mouth, because I'm like, I still put Snatch at number 1 the last time, so I'm going to shut my mouth.
This is what I mean. Like,
I just felt like I've done it too much and I pushed it up. That's my own sins. Mind you, the ones that come after are some pretty decent films. But over to you.
oh, excuse me, it's quite late here. My apologies. My number 10. It's one that I wanted to put on last time for our first top 10 in London, but I didn't get around to watching it. Honestly, it's good, but I thought it was going to be higher. Luc Besson presents Gary Oldman's directorial debut. He also wrote this, and that is Nil by Mouth.
Okay.
It's a harrowing film. So according to Gary Oldman, this is loosely based on his upbringing in London. Anything to do with Gary Oldman's upbringing, this is very hard to watch. Ray Winston is in this, and he delivers honestly. Yeah, Ray Winston, who's now become a bit of a joke because he's famous for the "I gamble responsibly" commercial, right? But think Ray Winston in The Departed, where he was a bad mofo. He's even nastier in this. This is Ray Winston doing Bronson, essentially. I would go as far as to say a career best performance from him.
I'm going to cut you here just because of one small question. Have you seen him in a film called Scum?
No, I've heard of Scum.
Yeah, apparently it's a young Ray Winston, but he's powerful in that. I'm just putting it out there because I know that.
Yeah. So it must be similar territory then.
Yeah,
but so there's no likable characters in this movie to latch onto. Like it's kind of just like a cross section of a messed up family between, the wife who's a bit of a doormat, but you understand because she's married to Ray Winston's character, who is a genuinely horrible man. Not a gangster, but a kind of like, he thinks he's a bit of a gangster. But the thing is that he is actually a hard man. Like, he is hard and he does hard man things, but you wouldn't say he's like gangster. He's just a kind of hard man from East London type. It's as simple as that. Right. And when I tell you there's things like him attempting to bite noses off people, beating his wife up so bad that she has a miscarriage, devastating their apartment to the degree that it's unlivable. There's horrible scenes of heroin injection. Like, it's raw and gritty in a way that's really, really uncomfortable. Kind of like the Harvey Keitel Bad Lieutenant movie, it's very visceral and bit like Martyr, very cold in its delivery. It's uncomfortable watch. Where I take it annoyance with it and why it's so low, it does a type of filmmaking that I've never personally liked, which is it doesn't have a beginning and an end. That's what I mean. It's just a cross section. It's kind of like you're given insight into kind of like a day in the life. Like, this is how this family operates, and there's not really any character development as a result because there's no beginning and end. You're just kind of stuck in the crosshairs of this few hours that you spend with these characters. And they're very much the same characters at the beginning and at the end. And the ending is, it's purposefully very, very inconclusive. It's just like, and life carries on and life stayed bad. But it annoyed me. Startup is another example. It's a fantastic film, but the ending where it's just like, and end. I'm like, what? There's no conclusion? Some movies like to play with that, and that type of ending resonates with some audiences. I'm one of the people who it personally really annoys.
I think it grinds my gears a bit
I
as well.
like my films to have a beginning, middle, and end. I'm a traditionalist in that sense. I'm all for experimental filmmaking, but I don't like experimental filmmaking where it doesn't give me basic story beats and character development. So it gets knocked down all the way to 10 for that, but it is definitely worth the price of admission alone for Ray Winston. It's very good.
Nice. Is Gary in it, or he just directed it?
No, he's just directing it. Tell you who isn't it though, since you're an EastEnders fan. Do you remember Maureen?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's his real life sister.
Oh, well, there you go. She's in
What,
it.
Big Mo, yeah? Big Mo,
Big Mo, yeah, she's in it.
Yeah. I think it's like his stepsister or something like that. Layla Morse, yeah. They're related somewhere.
Yeah, well, she's in it. And she's really good. Really, really good. And it's got this kind of weird Millie Miller of English gangster backup dancer actors in it too, where you never know their name, but you're looking and go, oh, that's the guy from Lockstock, or that's the guy from Layer Cake, or that's the guy from Rock and Roller. You can recognize them. It's like they're not big stars, but they're distinguishable.
Nice.
My number 9. Knowing you, this is probably a pun, but my number 9 is Notting Hill.
Your number 9.
My number 9.
Well, it's my number. It's in my next category. But you've got another film to talk. Yeah, it's a pun.
That would be a pun. And my number 8, maybe punt again. I know why it'll be a punt if it's hard for you, but my number 8 is Tom Hardy. What's better than Tom Hardy once? Tom Hardy twice. Legend.
That is a punt. That is a punt as well.
All right. Number 7, the punt from just now.
Should have just let me talk, bro. Should have just let me talk. Notting Hill. Notting Hill is, look, I'm surprised they didn't make the list last time, but it just showed how many powerful films that were available. It was like the one that instantly came to my head. I always remember one of the lines that Hugh Grant said. I don't even know if you could get away with it nowadays, but for the diversity that Notting Hill, the area, has, especially around Carnival time, he kind of said, and a special mention to all the black people who weren't visually available for the film while we were recording, because it was like it doesn't represent the diversity of Notting Hill. But
no, it doesn't.
It's a sweet movie.
When you consider back in the 70s that Notting Hill used to be a yardie area, like Notting Hill was not posh.
Yeah, exactly. It's not where you would find Hugh Grant, but yeah, but
wanted to hear.
Exactly. It's a really weird but sweet story of the fumbling bookstore owner who happens to come across the biggest Hollywood starlet and not being completely unaware who she is, and then it just builds up, and then how he adapts to her being in their life because they've just got this connection that just works, and it's a literal culture clash. This shy retirement man on one side and like Hollywood's biggest star, played by, at the time, one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Like Julia Roberts was playing herself, essentially. You kind of feel, that's the thing I've always liked about Notting Hill. You kind of feel like, was she being her? You kind of feel
and
like
Hugh being Hugh.
Yeah, and it that's what makes it really natural. And Reese Ifans is one of the best backup dancers you could get as a character. Like every time he appears, you just have one of these weird, quirky moments that you're like, what? You just said what? And it's like Hugh Grant knowing I have to quote this line, and it's in the trailer, so I'm not taking anything away, but it's the one that always stuck out to me. It's like I've just opened Pandora's box. I went to school with a girl called Pandora once. Never saw her box though. I just like, what? What? How? And
the one I love is after he's done posing and then he's looking at himself in the mirror going, flat stomach, firm buttocks. So good.
Yeah, he just
story. That house where they filmed their apartment is actually torn down now.
I hate when stuff like that happens.
They're in the process of rebuilding it. I was literally in Notting Hill a few weeks ago and I noticed that, hang on, where's the house? Nope, it's all being remodeled.
And funny enough, I think the the place that they use as a bookstore is now like an ultimate souvenir shop, isn't it? Like it's all based around the film and stuff like that. So there are some quirks. It's kind of like if you go to King's Cross, you've got 9 3/4 available somewhere between platforms 9 and 10.
You know, you've got these great landmarks of British cinema that are not our famous monuments. You would really think that, okay, yes, it's number 26 on Portobello Road or whatever. Preserve that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's a cultural landmark, I guess, now.
Well, it's near enough worthy of blue plaque status. It may not be like an actor or director lived there, but it's an iconic moment. It's a visitable spot. I get it. If you live there and you got someone constantly taking pictures outside your front door, it's a bit of a pain. But you know what you're buying, and if anything, turn it into like. The studio can make it something. You can literally make it a tour house. You know, there are so many stuff that can happen. I hate to see history destroyed. It's just one of those pet
things. So sad, isn't it? But yeah, it is what it is. So that was your 7. Your 6?
Yeah. To be fair, I was torn with these two films, and I just slapped them both in together. Could one have been slightly higher than the other? Could a film gone in between? I don't know. But it's Hugh Grant back again, and no, it's not The Gentleman because I can't do 3. What's his name? The Guy Ritchie films in a row, but he came back and it's another rom-com. I had great fun with this. Colin Firth, Renee Zellweger, Hugh Grant, Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yeah, I have fond memories for it. I don't know if I'd put it top 10, but it's definitely a sweet film.
Look, when you fall into another, the certain films start to creep up, and I tell you what it was as well. Where Love Actually beat the other two. These were the other 2 British rom-coms that came into my head so quick. And I'm like, if one's going to go in, both are going to go in. And if we do another, like, then
not a 4 weddings and a funeral guy, huh?
Come again?
Not a 4 weddings and a funeral guy.
Do you know what? For some reason, and I've seen 4 weddings, for some reason I keep picturing when they go to Scotland, I'm like, it's not entirely in London, which is stupid because it was one wedding over in Scotland and the rest is there. It's not as, it doesn't hit me as much. It doesn't hit me as much. It's just one of those. But yeah, no, Bridget Jones, I'm actually a big fan of the trilogy. I know they get worse as they go on. But this lady who's just looking for love and like, you know, she's fallen for the dashing Hugh Grant and has got the attention of this very stern, very boring, nothing exciting Colin Firth. And you're just like, you can see where she goes and all the fumblings along the way, and even do you know what I like? It's kind of grounded in reality. It's someone just trying to make life happen. All the errors she goes through in work, trying to better herself, but just making an absolute rear end of herself. It just works. Now I can't. Is it this? It was this film, isn't it? Where they step outside for a gentlemanly fight, or was it number 2?
Outside.
It is in this one, isn't it?
I bring my pistols or my dueling swords?
and what makes
they outside in both of them? One of them is in the Venetian Gardens in Hyde Park. That's the second one. In this one, it's just in the street, and they have the pansy kick fight. It's great.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Careful, I think that word can be cancelled. I'm not going to blur it, but I remember.
Really?
I swear, Roman Reigns.
I didn't mean it badly.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns nearly got cancelled for that one once. It's ridiculous, but apologies. No offense intended by mentioning a flower. But anyway,
even thinking offense when I said that.
But you know the best bit about it is when you think of it, you have the most British actors, you know, the both fumbling, stumbling British actors just going out for a duel, and it just makes the scene even more realistic. You're like, oh god, not these two. It's not exactly Jason Statham versus, you know, another heart like Vinnie Jones or something. Like you hear those two go outside, you go, oh, what's going to happen next? Obviously, Jason will destroy Vinnie. I just can't think of another maniac British actor right now. But you're like, you two, seriously. All right, go on. Let's see what comes. But no, I had great fun with those. So yeah, Bridget Jones' Diary had to make the list.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. My 7. Despite the fact that I hate the lead, this is annoyingly a good movie, and it's what got him most likely the James Bond role. Layer Cake.
You know, Layer Cake is a film I didn't dislike it, but I felt it needed more. There was something lacking in Layer Cake. I don't know what it is.
It didn't entirely know, I think, what it wanted to be. And I would argue that the kind of straight, posh presentation that Daniel Craig was portraying in this movie didn't quite fit the world which the character was inhibiting. But look, it was insightful the way that he's working his way up the underworld ranks, starting as this lowly, drug pusher, and then you see the business side of him, and he works his way up to being like mansions and palaces. He encounters a load of interesting characters like Michael Gambon. It's an early blink and you'll miss him Tom Hardy appearance in this.
Yeah.
The center of this movie, it's what's interesting. It's Daniel Craig being hunted by Dragan, the villain that you never see. Like that, I thought was genuinely engaging. But I'm with you. The movie was lacking, but I do think it's a nice kind of bit of counter programming to what your stereotypical British gangster movies are, and it's definitely worth a watch.
Do you know what I think it is as well? And I could be wrong. It was sold as like the follow up to the Guy Ritchie Snatches and what have you. Like,
yeah.
Brilliant. And it was like, and I think that's what you go and get in one thing, and because of the narrative, the way it's not just a gangster movie; it's the dialogue that those films also had that makes them special. This didn't have it, and you're like, but you're not. You're not what they said it was. You're a good film, but you're not that, and that was its downfall for me.
Correct. And listen, it does have a few good lines then. Like the first time Dragan calls him and he's like, you owe my boss a lot of money and I'm going to come and find you if you don't pay it. And he's like, whoa, come. Look, let's, I'm sure we can figure something civil out. Let's meet up why don't you come over to mine? Let me cook you breakfast and we can talk this out. And Dragan's like, that sounds like an agreeable suggestion. Fantastic. Why don't you come over now? Do you know where I live? Actually, no, I don't. Well, F off then. That's what I mean. Him running away from Dragan for the whole movie was fun. But you can see why they picked him as Bond. Like that after the scene where Cole Meany's in this, love it. But after the scene where Cole Meany has put the gun together and he's walking down the corridor shirtless and he's kind of looking around the corner, pointing what looks like a Wolfie PPK. I'm like, okay, there's your money shot. That's why that's why Man Productions picked you. Now I see it. Then it sucked, but
Jeez.
yeah, we pretend those movies don't exist. Oh my god, you don't like Daniel Craig as Bond? No, he sucks. Moving on. Right, my number 6. Well, I did 3 Guy Ritchie movies last time when we did a line of episodes. I'm gonna bring another one to the party now. A movie that I actually think is criminally underrated, and that is Rock and Roller.
Do you know? I think I missed this one, or I've just seen.
Dude, it's such again a kind of pre-fame Tom Hardy performance here. He's not in it for much. He's in it for cumulatively, I think, about 20-25 minutes. An outstanding performance by Toby Kebbell. Yes, the same guy who played Koba. Obviously not in a monkey suit this time. Tandy Newton's in this. Gerard Butler's the lead in this. Tom Wilkinson plays like the big kingpin of London. Mark Strong is his heavy right-hand man. There's a really good cast around this. And it's so Guy Ritchie, but it's so not. So you've got this painting at the center of everything, which the Russians are trying to buy off, and the painting goes missing. And the person selling it, turns out it was the junkie son played by Toby Kebbell who nicked the painting. And that it's like the rifles in Lock, Stock. Everyone's looking for this painting, and through means of, interwoven narratives, everyone is lying about, yeah, I know where the painting is. Yo, where's the painting? I'll get it right to you. Yo, where's the painting? Like, no one knows where it is, and they just go on this rip-roaring ride. Meanwhile, the Russian mafia are incoming. It's really good.
I need to check it. I'm blurred because the more you're saying, I'm like, have I seen this film? But it's a missed one for me. Like I can't
Really good film.
run it.
What's your number 5?
My number 5. Well, you've done Guy Ritchie. It's my turn to do Guy Ritchie. Sherlock Holmes.
They're very minor punt.
Okay, cool. Over to you. What's your 5?
See, my number 5. I think I've recommended this to you before, and it's definitely deserving of being on here. 4 Lions.
You have.
Such fun, this film. It's a pre-fame Riz Ahmed, who's gone on to do things like City of Blinding Lights, Star Wars, Rogue One. Like, Riz has become a big name now. But this is kind of what launched his career. So it's got, what's his name? I'm going to have to IMDb this. How much have you been keeping up with the What We Do in the Shadows series?
Hold on, 4 Lions. Hold on, is this the one with him and Danny Dyer?
No.
No, I'm thinking of another film.
But Kayvan Novak is in this. It's essentially this group of 4 aspiring jihadists.
No,
Pakistani or it's deadpan comedy. You've got this one hardline guy who's all about the word of Allah, right? But he doesn't believe in his own conviction, so it's all just it's empty rhetoric. And the 3 other guys calling him on it go, "What do you know about Allah, bruv? Tell me about Allah. What does Allah like to eat? Do you know? Do you even know, bruv?" It's that type of comedy. It works. You've got this one guy who's completely in over his head and just wants to be part of the group. You've got Kayvan Novak, who's in What We Do in the Shadows. He plays Nandor, if the main character in the Shadows. So he's in this. He's kind of like the bumbling idiot. Does things like, I will fire a rocket launcher at a drone while they're in Pakistan, and it's like, that thing ain't reaching, but you're definitely going to show them where your location is by firing that. So great job. And then you've got Riz Ahmed, who's most likely to become a jihadist, but ultimately they all fail, and the result is, no, we need to make our name for ourselves, bruv. We have to do this, bruv. So they hold up a fish and chip shop in South London. And who's the negotiator? Just as a little fun cameo, Benedict Cumberbatch. And there's a point where they're like, when he's negotiating with them, and they're trying to talk about sex, and he's using sex as a means to, pacify and negotiate. He's like, he's listening in on them, and Benedict Cumberbatch is like, "Oh, I knew it. You're an arse man, aren't you?" "Yeah, I'm an arse man too. You're an arse man." He's like, do I look gay to you, bruv? Are you mad calling a jihadist gay? What is wrong with you, bruv? Are you mad? It's so funny, AJ. Like, must watch.
I will try and find some time for it.
On Channel 4. It's very funny.
I saw it was on Netflix as well, so yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. Your number 4.
My number 4, Donde es mi número 4. Have a similar territory or possibly a punt. Your actor himself, Mr. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
My Beautiful Laundrette.
It's all you. The only reason I left it off is because it's been too long since I've seen it. It's too vague.
So here's the thing. Can I be honest? It is a bit of a blank, but I remember it being a very powerful film, and that's why it's so high.
Oh, it's superb.
That's the truth.
Superb. DDL's in it.
Yeah, it's the story of essentially star-crossed lovers for the better term of it as well, because you've got a punk and you've got a Pakistani-bred gentlemen who were friends, but like they lost contact, and then they reconnect, and they work together while looking after the guy's uncle's shop, laundrette. And with that, their friendship rekindles, and then a relationship rekindles. But with that, as I said, like Daniel Day-Lewis has become part of the punk movement. This guy is like, his dad was like a left-wing minister in Pakistan. So there's this culture clash of who they are, but their friendship and relationship is building through this. And in that, the people around them who are their supporters are now going against them, and it's what they do for each other. Or I don't want to call it Fox and the Hound again, but it's like which way do you choose? Do you choose the friend and relationship you've got, or are you going with the people that you feel that you are best associated with? And in that, there are many life lessons to learn and how you learn to appreciate other people's sides and views. I'm going to leave it as that because it has been a while for me, but it was a very powerful film. And yeah, I hope I've sold it enough for people to go and give it a watch. Like, I know it's definitely worth a revisit. Like, when I read it, I was like, I need to put it in, but I haven't had enough time to watch it. And I was like, yeah, it will go in over any other like potentials that were in there. There's no way we could do two top 10 set in London and it doesn't come in. It had to make it for me.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and you know, it's one of Daniel Day-Lewis's lesser appreciated roles, but he's still so goddamn good in it.
Yeah.
Like the guy. I can't. We're 6 seasons in. The few episodes in if you're new to the YouTube channel, but for 6 seasons on podcast, I have been waxing lyrical about how good Daniel Day-Lewis is. He is the GOAT. I won't hear otherwise. My number 4.
Yep.
Was the pun from just now, and that's another Guy Ritchie movie. Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, this very, very, very nearly made it in the last show. It just skimmed it, and I was like,
so good.
Yeah.
I love what Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman did on the BBC show. I think that was superb. And I know the trendy thing to say is that's the modern Sherlock is the better version. No. I love this interpretation of Shakespeare, not Shakespeare, of Sherlock. I love this kind of East meets West Sherlock, who's, you know, he's got this kung fu ability that he's obviously learned on his travels, but he's still got that, you know, English wit and cynicism about him. And it makes this perfect storm in a teacup of a character, highly judgmental, highly volatile, highly high on his own supply, but yet endearing and charming. It's wonderful what he does here, and he plays off so well off of Jude Law. Like,
Yeah.
those two had got genius on-screen chemistry.
Yeah. This is the thing, and don't get me wrong, you can do a modern Sherlock, but it's gold when you can do traditional Sherlock in a modern age. You know, like, that's the magic of what he done, and he's captured old school England so well. You know,
So
he's recreated. I can't say captured it. He recreated it so well that you're like, you can feel the grit. You can feel it's gritty. It's got the you feel uncomfortable along the area. Like, it has that. Yeah. Oh, okay. We're in that part of London. This is what we're doing, and the story's very good. You know, take away the backdrop. It's a perfect detective movie. Like, it's exactly that. He done really well with this film.
Second movie, such a letdown.
Sadly, but yeah, the first one is definitely something worth talking about and seeing.
Did you hear who was supposedly being cast to play Moriarty at one point?
No.
Brad Pitt. I know, right? I know, right?
That would have been something. That would have been.
And Brad, it wasn't that Brad outpriced himself. Brad was open to it. He literally said, if Guy Ritchie ever wants to cast me in anything again, I'm there.
Nice.
And he was never in the running for it. I think he was campaigning for it. And I was like, you could have had Brad.
Do you know what I smell more than anything else? Schedule conflict. It has to be.
I don't believe the schedule conflict excuse. AJ, in Hollywood, scheduling conflict basically means we didn't get along. There was a creative difference. One of us is walking away. Don't ever buy the scheduling conflict.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, it can occasionally happen, but yes. Okay, where were we?
That was my 4, so you're 3.
So my number 3, this is one I've shown love to a couple of times before in previous pods. Available on BBC iPlayer. It's under the Small Axe banner, but this is, you can see it by the poster. My girl, Letitia Wright, in the Mangrove. It's called Mangrove, but it's based on the Mangrove 7, which is quite fitting considering we've just left the Notting Hill Carnival situation, but this is all about this group of people within the Notting Hill area. As you said, back in the 70s, this is when this riot kicked off, where the police invaded this restaurant and accused them of doing like a terrorist I can't remember the exact thing, but of some attack, and the police have done them and they've been forcibly imprisoned. Very similar in story to like the trial of the Chicago 7, and it's these people who are now putting themselves up against the police and fighting for their rights over, like, not doing nothing wrong, just literally wrong time, wrong place, and the police trying to catch dirt on them and make it stick. What I will say again, this is part, as I said, part of the Steve McQueen Small Axe series, where they were all individual small films. There was this one, Lovers Rock, I wasn't the biggest fan of, but it had Michael Ward, and another one, John Boyega plays Leroy Logan, the first black constable in the thing. But this one really stuck out to me, just the different people who are literally come over from the Caribbean, trying to establish themselves, and the racism of the police, of them being open and trying to have them and corrupting them for having, like, playing dominoes in the back and saying this illegal gambling and setting them up for this, that, and the other. And the knowledge that these people have of challenging the police and getting past it. It's very great. It's a really great story, man. Yeah, available on iPlayer to be caught at any time.
I
Great.
need to check it out. I really, really do.
Yeah.
My number 3 then. So again, I'm not going to spend long on this one, but it's one I have brought up a million times. One of the great zombie movies, Killian Murphy in 28 Days Later.
This so nearly made my list, especially when I'm at work and I'm looking at that hospital from across the.
I rewatched it. It is so goddamn good, this film. Like, I forget each time I watch it, I forget just how good it is. Like, everything works. The soundtrack is incredible. The visuals, you know, this visceral, bare visual of, you know, empty London just works. The speed at which the zombies move was great. The you know, the emotional scenes, which are meant to hit hard, really hit hard, like Brendan Gleeson obviously biting it. You know, the fact that they didn't shy away from showing this is what humankind deteriorates into if pushed to its limit, you know, with keeping the young girls and essentially wanting to use, well, keeping she played Moneypenny. What's her name? Why am I blanking?
I'm not going to pretend I know her name.
I
can see the face.
blanking. What's her name? Oh, that's gonna kill me. Naomi Harris. I'm sure it's Naomi Harris.
Is it?
I'm sure it's Naomi Harris.
Yes, guys, we do host a film podcast.
It is Naomi Harris, yeah. Yeah, Naomi Harris, exactly.
Yes.
Christopher Eccleston in this. Like, it's got a banging cast, and they're very, very aware that they're doing this movie with an all-time great British director in Danny Boyle. Like, top to bottom, this movie is stellar. It's so goddamn good.
Again, yes, I tend to lean World War Z as my zombie movie, but I'm a guy who doesn't do zombie movies. 28 Days Later caught my eye. This, I was like, okay, you're giving me something different. This is sensible. This is
sensible. As undead goes, this is sensible.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's the thing with me. Some of them just do me in. This, I was like, okay, yeah, you've got something.
Yeah. Your number 2.
My number 2. So it was the punt from earlier, because, hey, what's better than one Tom Hardy, as he said? It's 2, and he's playing the craze. You know, what I love about watching Legend as well is, you mentioned the film earlier, it's Tom Hardy has played some of the biggest gangsters that were all friends. He's played both Craze and Bronson. It's mad to think that, like, he could have actually played, if he was to merge that film, he would be all 3 characters in one film and own each character perfectly. And that's what I love about it. It's a nice dive into history, which is always going to catch me, good old Mr. Biopic that I am. But it's the respect I have for the way he shows the differences in 2 of the most notorious people in British history, and owns the differences in both of them. That's so much so people wondering, were there 2 Tom Hardys? You know, it's that good. He just captures it, and essentially there is nothing to sell it. It is just the story of Ronnie and Reggie, the Cray twins. Different though they are, protective of each other, clash as much as they do, and absolute nutters who terrorized the London East End.
Oh, complete nutters.
Yeah.
And as you said, the performance from Hardy portraying them both so differently kind of outshines the entire movie, and that's why it was so low for me, because the performance is so good, but the performance is inhibiting is it's okay.
I get it. Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
It's not like, listen, everything memorable about this film is Tom Hardy. I want to have a shootout. You don't bring knives to a shootout.
Yeah.
I like guys. I had a black fella once. I folded him up like a pretzel. I really hurt him. What? Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It is. It's that the film could have done with more depth. It is his performance of the two that just makes it like, what comes next? And it's true. Not that there are many scenes without him, but it just lacks. It just needs.
What this movie very much did is it recreated that long lost kind of perverse fascination that we have with the craze. Because on the back end of Legend, you look on every streaming service, especially Amazon, like there was so much content surrounding the craze being pumped out, like independent movies, documentaries, rankings of the people the craze had killed. Like the world for about 9 months went kind of crazy. Didn't even mean to do that one. Cray.
Yeah.
But yeah, the performance it's a worldie. It's a worldie of a performance. One of Hardy's best. Not his best, but one of. My number 2, also the pun from earlier. Mary Poppins.
Bro, I get it. I legitimately get it. There's nothing to hate about it. It's absolutely supercalifragilistic.
Of gay Smurf, do you talk about London and not talk about Mary Poppins?
I know. It's just not. It's not right. Even last week when I realized I forgot it, I was like, "How did you?" Like it's integral, isn't it? It's synonymous.
It's hand in hand, you know. But there's songs. Let's Go Fly a Kite. I Love to Love. Supercalifragilistic. Spoonful of Sugar. Chim Chimney. Like it's it's a lovely holiday with you, but like it goes on and on and on and on. It's great. The fractured relationship between the family that Mary has to come and fix, the sense of wonder that she creates, and the simplicity with the practical effects. Like, I'm going to slide up the banister.
Yeah.
It's a very simple trick. All we did was play the video in reverse. But it's so effective.
Yeah.
It's so effective.
100%.
No, and Julie Andrews, man, God, she's amazing. I love that film. It's such a big part of my childhood. I absolutely love it. And Dick Van Dyke, he's so charming.
He owns the role of Bert. Like, if it was anyone else, I just can't picture it working. He just owned it. He made it magical. They made it magical. Like,
best Dick Van Dyke performance, Bert or Professor Potts from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
It wouldn't be fair for me to say it because I've not seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in a absolute lifetime.
Okay,
that's the problem. As much as I enjoyed it as a kid, I've seen Mary Poppins a lot. I've not seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in an absolute age. I couldn't do it right now. I couldn't do it right now.
Pretty Chitty Bang Bang, Pretty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, exactly. And that's thanks to Jim Carrey, not the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It's true, isn't it? Chitty Bang Bang, yeah. I miss Jim. I didn't put a worst on, did you?
Neither have I. I haven't got one this week.
So you're number 1?
It's a bit of a cheat because I didn't really want to go down the territory of films that came in on the previous one. However, I left it off last time and it felt like a sin. It had to be Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels this time. I was just like, Guy Ritchie has this magic of writing, the wit, the all the elements of just having you on suspense. It just works. The plot twist, the different. They're ensemble movies without having big stars, you know? It's got all these different stories scattered around the whole town. and it just gradually builds into one connected story. You know it's connected the whole time, but it's like, how do I join this dot to this? And when it all culminates together, they're just magic. And the way this film ends, does he answer the phone? It's just like, again, it's just something that's a captivating moment. Yeah, I will always wave the flag for Snatch, and we talked about this film a lot, so I don't want to waste time on it. But each time I've watched Lock, Stock, I'm like, you're not Snatch, but you do have magic. I always say, because it's not Snatch,
Just
I always push it back more.
He shot me. Can everyone stop getting shot?
It's just got gold. It has gold.
You know, the way we talk about Tyrone and the two black guys in Snatch, we have to talk about the Scousers in Lock, Stock. Guns, shotguns. Like, guns that fire shots. Oh, you must be the brains of the operation. Or when he gets shot.
And he's got the kind of gym hair.
His perm gets ruined. And his friend's like, hey, go back in the car now, right, mate? And he's just walking around like all vexed, like, you shot my perm. What was it? The crazy little black gangster who, like, the head honcho. He's so funny.
I was just about to bring him up.
And what is it? Jason said, oh, he looks like a teddy bear, but he's a nasty.
And I can't remember what it is, but the exact beat of the story. This is what I keep doing. I can remember a lot of Snatch. I always forget parts of Lock, Stock, but his table that they keep breaking. So it's just gold. It's like, how do you write this? Like, it's just gold. It is great.
Do I look like to you, Nicholas? Huh? Don't me, Greek boy. What type of tries to sell my gear back to me? Is this some white joke that black just don't get? Because I'm not laughing, Nicholas. It's so good.
Do you know I had the pleasure of meeting him? I was at this. I've got a picture on. I think it's on my Instagram.
No kidding.
He was at this college thing. Like, I was at this college open day or something, like helping out these kids and mentoring it. And he was there. I did get a picture of it. Is it Vash Harwood? Vash Blackwood? Something? Vash Blackwood?
Let's have a look. Vash Blackwood, yeah.
Yeah.
Rory Breaker, that's it.
Absolute gold. Absolute gold.
Nick the Greek. Oh. So funny. Right, Nick, we need them guns back. So funny. What do you think my number one is?
I can't think. I'm actually blocked. Is it Old School?
Nope.
That's throwing me off even more. You didn't do Reddit. There's no way Rain of Fire would be your number one. It would be in there, but not your number one.
Which one?
Rain of Fire?
Nah. I toyed with Rain of Fire, but no.
Hit me.
Oh, AJ. It's good. Vincent Cassel and Viggo Mortensen in Eastern Promises.
Oh, I've not seen this, and I didn't know it was in London. I've heard of it.
So good. It is this wonderful interwoven web of Russian mafia family drama. It's non-chronological and it doesn't make sense until the end. But when you're getting there, you've got brilliantly written characters. You've got London feeling like the modern London, as in, yeah, it's gentrified, but you know there's still an underbelly to it. You've got also the way that modern London portrays, you know there's violence there and you have to go looking for it, but when you find it, boy, do you find it, right? It has portrayed modern London in such a real light that it almost made London a star. You know, things like when they're leaving a Chelsea game, for instance, and you know they're literally walking in that graveyard behind Stamford Bridge,
Wow.
Yeah. And you've got the one kid who's about to get shanked, and he's like, "Oh, so no." He's a bit special needs, and he's walking around in his Arsenal shirt. He's like, "Oh, so no," and all the Chelsea fans are screaming, "Wank, wank," screaming profanities at him. And then he stops to take a pee on a gravestone, and you think you're about to get battered by one of the Chelsea fans here. No. It's at that moment that the Russian mafia decide to strike on him and shank him, and it's like, perfect cover up. It's little things like that where you're like, if you've lived in London and you see stuff like that, you're like, yeah, you could easily make that happen and make it look like an accident. And that's what's so clever about it. Vincent Cassel plays the kind of the heir to the Russian Empire, and he's a constant disappointment to his dad. Viggo Mortensen plays his right-hand man, who is a bad mother blubber in this. He's chilling in like one of those like Turkish bath sauna places, and Chechnyan hitmen come in after him. So he's got to kill them while fighting completely butt naked. And I can tell you, seeing a man kill another man while he's going full English is incredibly unsettling. It just hits all the right beats, and you're like, yes, this is the London that still exists that they don't want us to see. It's truly horrible, but it's still there.
I need to add this to my list now.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Eastern Promises and Nil by Mouth. I think I need to check them both out.
Nil by Mouth is a hard watch, but it's a good watch. Eastern Promises is fantastic.
4 Lions. I'd love to say I'd do it tonight, but I don't think I've got the energy tonight. Yeah. Nice.
And that's our top 10s.
It is. So
the Rushmore decided we've had 4 puns.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, go for it.
You got them noted, yeah?
I do indeed.
Good. That's a good AJ. Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of another top 10 movies set in London in no particular order is
Mary Poppins.
Our second entry is
Notting Hill.
Our third entry is
Sherlock Holmes.
Our final entry into the Movie Mount Rushmore of another top 10 movie set in London is
Legend. I actually really like this list because it's diverse as hell.
It's super diverse, isn't it?
It's really diverse. It just shows
I would have liked to see Eastern Promises in there, but it would have. I think Mary Poppins is running away with this.
Probably. I think I could see the order, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it falls.
All right, bro, take us home.
Okay, guys, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Do check out the links, click the page, do press the subscribe button, the like button, press the notification bell, because we are weekly for this. But on top of this, we also deliver news on a daily basis. So there is a lot. If you are into films, there is a lot to take away from the Silver Screen Dudes. We are continuously growing. We've revamped and we are doing our thing. The numbers are growing each week, and we want you to be a part of that community. If you stumbled across us, we appreciate you so much, and we thank you for spreading the word.
This is a weekly top 10 show, so every single Tuesday you can catch us right here on the Silver Screen Dudes. And if you're not subscribed already, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever new content goes out. As AJ said, it's pretty much every single day. There should be another video right down here somewhere for you to keep watching. But until next week, guys, my name is Nico Luro.
I'm the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
And we will see you next week for more movie top 10s. Bye, guys.